Alright, so I'm going to go over strategies for finding areas of rectangles with fractional side lengths, okay? I'm going to go over two strategies that were really popular in class, and if you forget that these are pretty good strategies to use. The first one is, so if you look at 2, it says 7.5 units and 2 units, so my length is 7.5 units, and my width here is 2 units. They already kind of start to tile this for you, so what you can do is you can just finish the tiling, and I would use a straight edge for this. And then you can just count your whole square. So in here I would have 7, 7, so 14 whole squares, okay? And then I have these two, which are each a half. And how do I know that these partial squares are a half? Well, I look at my fractional side length here, and that tells me it's a half. So 1/2 plus 1/2 would get me another 1 whole. So I have 1 over here, and then 14 whole squares. So I can just do kind of 14 plus 1 and get 15 square units. The other strategy is probably your more efficient one, and that's using your area formula. So if you know area equals length times width, okay, 2 dimensions, 1, 2, then I know I can do 7.5. My area of this rectangle would be 7.5 times 2. So then I can multiply, a lot of you were doing this earlier, sorry about that. Area equals 7 times 2, so that would be 14. And then you also have to do your 2 times your half. So let me show that just a little bit better here. I can do, to do this work, I can do 7 times 2 and get 14. And then I also need to multiply my 2 by the half. So I could do 1/2 times 2, and that would equal 2 halves. Or if you make that a mixed number, that equals 1. And then 14 plus 1 equals 15. All right, so my number sentence for this one would be my formula, 7.5 times 2, and that would equal 15 units squared, okay? For number 3, same thing here, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I can kind of finish off my tiles since they already started. I have one that's 4 units by 5 1/3 units. And again, you use a straight edge for this, okay? It's a little hard with my mouse to make these straight lines. And when I'm looking at this, remember area is the space inside a shape. Okay, I can see easily that I have 20 whole squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 whole squares. But then I have these partial squares here, and each of those partials are 1/3. I know it takes 3/3 to get to 1 whole, so 1, 2, 3/3. That gets me another 1, and then I have another third left over, so I have 1 1/3 partial squares. So 20 plus 1 1/3 would get me to 21 1/3 square units. And again, over here I can use the area formula, and that's a lot more efficient for most of you, length times width. So if area equals, I could say area equals 5 1/3 times 4, okay? What I can do first is I can multiply my whole numbers. 5 times 4 equals 20. But I can't forget to multiply my 1/3 also by 4. So 1/3 times 4. So 1/3 4 times would equal 4/3. Or that equals 1 1/3. And then I just add them together. So 20 plus 1 1/3 would equal 21 1/3 square units. And my number sentence for this one would be 5 1/3. Remember, to find area, we multiply our length times our width. 5 1/3 times 4, and that would equal 21 1/3 units squared. So that's just two quick review strategies on how to find area of rectangles with fractional side lengths. Hope that helps. Have a good night.